with God for eternity. Welcome, welcome, I'm glad you're here with me. You're not a stranger anymore, now you're family. You're not a stranger anymore, now you're family. You're not a stranger anymore, now you're family. Welcome.
Thank you, music team. We love you. Let's give them a little round of applause. Good morning. Welcome. I'm Leslie Hotvet, and I'm a chaplain, and Reverend Clive is taking a little break with his family this weekend. So wherever you are, Reverend Clive, and whatever you're doing, we send you waves of love and appreciation. And as you can see, our beautiful new screens, progress is constant here. And actually, this month marks the 6-month anniversary of having Reverend Clive, and he is just doing the most wonderful job. And our church, yes, I'm seeing heads. Reverend Clive, if you're watching, their heads shaking. Yes, yeah, yay!
Oh, that was nodding.
So if you're new, we're especially happy to see you, and we welcome you to stay after. We have a wonderful, wonderful service. We are so blessed to have Reverend Tony Senf with us today. He obviously brings his own fan club. If you're at home or here, please know that you are loved and you are welcome. We're so happy to have you join us in worship today. Go on your phone and tell your Facebook friends where you are and how happy you are to be where you are. And then turn your phone off, please. And we will have wonderful refreshments after at our window. We have so much going on, I can't wait to get to the announcements, but first we must start with prayer. So join me and take a nice, great, big, deep breath. And another nice, great, big, deep breath. Coming in to this space in grace. Sacred oneness, divine creator of all. We are so grateful. We are so grateful to be together. We are so grateful to feel the love of each other. We're so grateful to have the opportunity to love one another. Always remembering that we are at one with you. Always remembering that wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And for this service and this morning and this sacred place and so much more, we say thank you, God.
Thank you, God. Okay, so please join us if you'd stand. Our congregational today is found in your bulletin on the back, or on the front page, sorry.
It's not on the new screen yet.
It's in there. And I'm here to remind you. And if you want to do a little Roomba step there at your chair, please feel free to do that too.
I'm here to remind you of your magnificence, to help you awake to all the wonder that you are. I long to show you all the joy you are worthy of. I'm here to remind you how much you truly love. We're here to to remind me of my magnificence, to help me awake to all the wonder that I am. You long to show me all the joy you're worthy of. You're here to remind me how much I'm truly loved. We're here to remind us of our magnificence, to help us awake to all the wonder that we are. We long to show us all the joy we're worthy of. We're here to remind us how much we're truly loved. We're here to remind us how much we're truly loved. We're here to remind us how much we're truly loved.
Cha, cha, cha.
Don't you want to say cha-cha-cha? All right. So we affirm our mission, and this is the most beautiful booklet, and I hope all of you have one, and I hope you'll take the opportunity to really look through it and make sure that you don't miss anything. On the last page, inside, at the top, I'd like you to follow along, must be the school teacher in me, affirming our values, vision, and mission. And if you'd like to read along, please do. At Unity Spiritual Center of Vero Beach, we value love, faith, integrity, stewardship, and joy. Our vision is centered in love. We create a world of harmony, abundance, and gratitude. And our mission is teaching, loving, and inspiring people to be all they are created to be. Just imagine if we all read that every single day. And now, announcements. The Board of Trustees is still looking for an alternate trustee. Please contact Marty Mahalko at the back if you're interested or if you're just curious. You don't have to, he's not going to throw a net over you if you come and ask a couple of questions. It's a wonderful opportunity. Reverend Clive is publishing a booklet called Living Unity for the month of September, on the topic and theme of the Unity Worldwide Day of Prayer. And in December, on the topic and theme of a true Advent. And then monthly for 2023. Get your copy at the Zen Den today, or next week. It's going to be, these booklets are available. I imagine he's home probably working on all these bulletins and booklets. Amazing, all that he's doing. And today, we are so thrilled to have Reverend Tony Senf. He's our guest speaker. He is blessing us with a workshop today called Using the World to Wake Up, after today's service at around noon. A demonstration of appreciation is only $25, but no one will be turned away. And I see here that the chapel is quite busy today. Right after this service, as soon as you grab a cup of coffee and a goodie, in the chapel, we are going to have Qigong. So we're going to have Qigong, and then we're going to have Reverend Tony's workshop. We have a meditation and mindfulness retreat, October 22nd. It's really important for you to mark your calendars because tickets are available to this congregation first before they're made available to other congregations. The day is meditation, mindfulness, music, and more. And we have a table back there with brochures if you'd like more information. And please do put it on your calendar and sign up as soon as you can. Marty, do we have booklets back there for the retreat? Okay, good. The World Day of Prayer is coming up, and this is an opportunity to really power up on September 7th. Please see more information about this. We have a wonderful interfaith gathering planned for Wednesday, and then we have more happening the next day. We have a CEE Unity Prayer class starting on Wednesdays next month. It starts on the 14th and it goes to the 12th, and these classes with Clive are so powerful. And there are more announcements, but you can find them in your bulletin. And now it is my joy to welcome our wonderful prayer chaplain, Faye Prado.
Good morning. I'm Faye Prado. I am your prayer chaplain for today. I will be available in the chaplain's corner after service for confidential prayer with anyone who would like. Also, we have our prayer box, which is usually out in the foyer out there here, in case anyone would like to write a prayer down and put it in the prayer box. The prayer box was blessed this morning at our meditation service, so it's ready for you. Today's daily word is gratitude. Gratitude is my natural state of mind. What joy it is to feel gratitude rising from my heart and filling my mind. Feeling grateful makes me aware of the all-encompassing presence of God, including the divine within me. When I live from my spiritual nature, gratitude becomes the song of my heart. I don't need to wait for a reason to feel grateful. When I live with an attitude of gratitude, I find the good in every situation, the blessing that can come from any adversity, and the presence of God in every aspect of life. Practicing gratitude opens my eyes to the blessings that are present and opens my heart to receive even more. I give thanks for an unlimited world, blissful peace, and perfect wholeness. And from Psalm 95, verse 2, let us come into his presence with thanksgiving. Let us make a joyful noise to him with songs of praise. Gratitude is my natural state of mind. Let's say this together. Gratitude is my natural state of mind.
I'm Betsy Joe, and this is Peter, and our song will lead right into meditation, so please hold that sacred space. We're going to share the traditional Lord's Prayer, followed by the Aramaic Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. 'Cause Abun de Brashmea, Nakerishmat, Tete Makota, Nekwe Sebriana Akana de Brashmea off Baraha, Havlan Lakman Consum Kananyamana, Wash Buckalain Hayabane de Conant of Hayabane. Wele Tatlan Anisiona. Ele Pantman Medisha. Matudalehe Makuta Wahaila Batishbuta. La Alam, Amen, and Amen. A word of power affirming that from this ground of unity, my actions will come. And so it is.
If you would now, with eyes closed, let's take a nice deep breath together. And in this sacred space, allow these words to be yours. Our one, absolute, eternal being, of which we are born forth from the realm of all and the only. I am empty within the ecstasy of your presence and the purity of the vibration of your name. Empower my creative expansion through your emergence from the unseen realms as I realize our life and will as one. On the manifest earth as it is in the unmanifest heavenly realms. Provide the nourishment of authentic insight and realization through me now and in each present moment. Release the echoes of my hidden past as I let go all of my concerns with others. For the undivided holiness is the absolute, the all and the only, and the power of our eternal radiance. From cosmic gathering to cosmic gathering, from age to age, from moment to moment, from now to now. May these pure intentions be the rooted, fertile earth center from which all my actions flow.
Just everyone take a beautiful, nice, big, deep breath together and holding that exquisite, loving space in our hearts and our souls. Peter and I are going to sing Love Will Never Fail by Porter's Gates, and it's 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient, love is kind. It has no arrogance or pride.
It seeks the good of others first. It keeps no record of wrong or hurt.
It finds no joy in wickedness, but rejoices in the truth.
Through it all it will endure. Love will never fail. Love will never, never fail. Love will never, never fail. Love will never, never fail. Love will never
though all prophecy will cease, though all knowledge it will fade. Oh, an end will come to speech, even death will pass away. We will see you face to face, and your mercy will prevail. Faith and hope, they will remain. Oh, love will never fail. Love will never, never fail. Love will never, never fail. Love will never, never fail. Love will never fail. Love, love, love will never fail. Love, love, love will never fail. Love will never fail.
And so it is.
Thank you.
Wow, that was awesome. Give him another hand, would you?
Thank you.
Wow. And thank you for that beautiful song leading us into that meditative state. The Lord's Prayer. Did any of you recognize what I read to you? That was the Lord's Prayer, as translated directly from the Aramaic. A little different than Our Father, who art in heaven, which is a beautiful prayer. Beautiful prayer. But I love that translation. And it's just so beautiful. As a matter of fact, I have it here, and I promised this copy to Betsy Joe, so she'll get this copy, and if you'd like a copy of that. But it is a direct translation from the Aramaic, which is just so, so beautiful. So beautiful. So, good morning. You know, Unity is real big on affirmations, right? Yeah. So I pastored Unity Center of the Heights in Cleveland Heights, Ohio for 11 years and just retired a few years ago. And when I would say good morning, we would affirm it. So let's try that here. So here's how we do that. I'll say good morning, and you say, yes, it is. All right, you ready? You want to try that? All right. Good morning.
Yes, it is.
I think we can do better. You ready? Good morning.
Yes, it is.
Oh, there you go. I felt that one. Did you feel that? Oh, I did. That was great. Yeah. All right. The other thing I always did when I started my message on Sunday morning is I always started with a joke. Because, you know, as Mercy said to me this morning, God has an incredible sense of humor. He really, just look around if you don't believe me, right? Yeah. So, and I always started with this line. It seems that a man went to the doctor to have his checkup, and the doctor said, "Yeah, you're fine." And finally, he asked the doctor. He said, "Look, my wife, I think she's getting hard of hearing. She's a very proud woman. I don't think I could get her to come in and see you. Is there anything I can do to maybe check and see if she's hard of hearing?" The doctor says, "Well, yes, you can." He says, "When you get home, stand in the doorway, a distance from her, and say something in a normal voice, and see if she responds. And if she doesn't, move a little closer, say it again, same level of voice. If she responds," he goes, "and if she doesn't respond, then move a little closer and see how close you have to get before she responds." He goes, "Okay, Doc, I'll do that." So he goes home and he walks in the door, and his wife's over in the kitchen preparing dinner. And he says, "Hi, sweetie, what's for dinner?" Nothing. So he walks halfway across the room and he says, "Hi, sweetie, what's for dinner?" Nothing. So he gets right up behind her and he goes, "Hi, sweetie, what's for dinner?" She turns around and says, for the third time, chicken. So there's a moral to that joke, which is the problem isn't always out there, is it? Matter of fact, I would say the problem is never out there, is it? The problem is always in here. Always. We're going to talk a little bit about that today as we talk about seek not love. Now that may sound a little strange since that's something we've all done, right? Go out and seek for love. But even though we've all done that, I think you'll get what we're talking about by the time we're done here, about seek not love. So how many of you get that you are an individual expression of God? How many of you get that? Wave at me. Okay, good, good. Because that's what we're going to talk about today, that you are really an individual expression of God. And we're going to delve into that a little deeper. Because I know you get it at a certain level, but I want to really get down to what does that mean? You are an individual expression of God. What might that mean? Oh, and I just thought something. I better start my timer or I'm going to miss my workshop this afternoon. So you are an individual expression of God. Let's see if we can't get a little deeper into that and get a deeper understanding. Would that be all right with you guys if we've got a deeper understanding of what that actually means? Right? As a matter of fact, that reminds me of a quote I got from my brother, who I love so dearly. He's one of the most awesome people on the planet. He really is. My brother Ted. And here's his quote. The greatest learning comes when you get a deeper understanding of something you already know. Amen. Isn't that true? Yeah. Right? Let me say it again. The greatest learning comes when you get a deeper understanding of something you already know. So you already know that you are an individual expression of God, right? Wave at me. You right? You got that? Let's see if we can't get a deeper understanding of that. With me on that one? All right, let's see if we can do that today. So, if we are an individual expression of God, what is God? Ooh. Ah, boy, she got right to the answer. Wow. I was going to narrow that down and say according to the First John chapter 4, what is God? But you nailed it, right? Yeah, that is it. As a matter of fact, here's how that goes. It says, Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God. And whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. Anyone who does not does not know God, because God is love. Yeah. So now we're getting a little better understanding of it. God is what? Love. Yeah, here's the problem. We don't know what love is. How many of you think you know what love is? Yeah. Most of you are being very honest. You didn't even try to raise your hand, right? Yeah. What is love? All right? Oh, my goodness. So, you are an extension of God, and God is love, right? Or as Reverend Clive would say, God is love, yes? I've got to just take a moment here and tell you guys, I hope you understand how blessed you are to have Reverend Clive. I mean that sincerely. I have traveled all over this country. I lived in 17 states before I got out of high school. I've lived in all but 15 states. I've gone to unity churches all over this country, and I've heard some great unity speakers. I really have. You've got one of the best right here. Right here. Yeah, you really do. And I love his accent, yes? Yes. But he's just an awesome man. I just fell in love with him the first time I came here and heard him speak. He is just so just know how blessed you are to have him here. All right. So let's see if we can't get a deeper understanding of what God is, this love that God is. And to do that, I'm going to read to you, which I rarely do when I'm doing a lesson, or a Sunday morning service, but I want to read this to you because it comes from A Course in Miracles. How many of you have studied A Course in Miracles? Are you ready? Oh, a lot of you. Awesome. Awesome. What a wonderful book. Yes? Yes. That was an affirmation right there, right? And I love the book. I have been studying A Course in Miracles since 1983, every day. And I bet I haven't missed 10 days since 1983 doing my lesson and reading it and studying it and studying it and studying it. And it's like that quote I just gave, I keep getting a deeper understanding. I'll read that book to this very day. Susan will tell you, I'll read this book and I'll go, did they just put that in? I don't remember. Yeah, it's just, it impacts you that way. So what I want to read to you is a lesson from the workbook, which is entitled, There Is No Love But God's. It's lesson 174 for you course students, all right? So take this in. Just sit back, take a deep breath, and just take this in. This defines love the best I've ever heard love defined. Perhaps you think that different kinds of love are possible. Perhaps you think there's a kind of love for this, a kind for that, a way of loving one, another way of loving still another. Love is one. It has no separate parts and no divergencies, no kinds nor levels, no degrees, and no distinctions. It is like itself, unchanged throughout. It never alters with a person or a circumstance. It is the heart of God and also his children. Love's meaning is obscure to anyone who thinks that love can change. He does not see that changing love must be impossible. And thus he thinks that he can love at times and hate at other times. He also thinks that love can be bestowed on one and yet remain itself, although it is withheld from others. To believe these things of love is not to understand it. Love cannot judge. As it is one itself, it looks on all as one. Its meaning lies in oneness, and it must elude the mind that thinks of it as partial or in part. Therefore, there is no love but God's, and all of love is his. There is no other principle that rules where love is not. Love is a law without opposite. Its wholeness is the power holding everything as one, the link between the Father and his children, which holds them both forever as the same. No course whose purpose is to teach you to remember what you really are could fail to emphasize that there can never be a difference in what you really are and what love is. Love's meaning is your own and shared by God himself. For what you are is what he is. There is no love but his, and what he is everything there is. There is no limit placed upon himself, and so are you unlimited as well. No law the world obeys can help you grasp love's meaning. What the world believes was made to hide love's meaning and to keep it dark and secret. There is not one principle the world upholds that violates the truth of what love is and what you are as well. Seek not within the world to find your true self. At least 3 times an hour, think of one who makes the journey with you and who came to learn what you must learn. And as he or she comes to mind, give them this message from your true self. I bless you, brother. I bless you, sister, with the love of God, which I would share with you, for I would learn the joyous lesson that there is no love but God's and yours and mine and everyone's. And so it is. Take a deep breath. Does that sound like the love you've known in your life? I see a lot of heads out there going like this. Yeah, that's love, folks. That's love. It doesn't change from a person or a circumstance. Wow. That's what we call unconditional love. And from what I'm reading here, unless your love is unconditional, it ain't love. Ooh. It's something else. Usually lust, but you know. I remember doing a class one time, we were talking about unconditional love, and some lady raised her hand. She goes, I have unconditional love. I said, great. What is that? She goes, I have unconditional love for my children. I said, oh, then the condition is they have to be your children. That's not unconditional love, is it? No. You must love everyone the same. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to demonstrate or express it in the same way. That can get you in trouble. But the love that you feel, the love that you have for others has to be the same, or it isn't love. This is what you are an extension of. You are an individualized expression of unconditional love. And that's the lesson we're all here to learn. Not just today, but for our lives. That's who you are, folks. You are unconditional love. So you need to leave here today and go out there and be that unconditional love. That's who you are. That's what God is. That is the highest frequency that exists. That which we call God. That is unconditional love. How do you get that you are the Christ? Well, some hands kind of went up kind of slowly on that one, didn't they? Ooh, that's a toughie. The theme of my 11 years of ministry, all the classes I did, all the workshops I did, all the Course in Miracles conferences I spoke at, and so on, my theme was always the same. And these folks up here, oh, I'm so glad to see you guys here. It's so good to see you again. I used to look out in Cleveland and see these same faces. That's just so great. But they would tell you I would ask this question. There wasn't a service, there wasn't a class, there wasn't a workshop, there wasn't where I did not ask this question. Who are you really? And the answer was? Yeah, that was our answer. Who are you really? The perfect child of God. That's who you are. That's that extension you are of God. But you can only do it the way you do it. That's why you are an individualized expression of God. So let me ask all of you, who are you really?
The perfect child of God.
Some of you got it. Let's try that again. All right, here we go. Who are you really?
The perfect child of God.
Yes. And that's a little hard to swallow sometimes, isn't it? Because the people go, I'm not perfect. No, your ego is not. I get that. But that's not who you really are. The question is, who are you really? Not who do you think you are. Right? I mean, I think I'm Tony, and I have a driver's license to prove it. That's not who I really am. One more time. Who are you really?
The perfect child of God.
Yes. And I did that for the longest time. I did that for years. And then I finally threw the next one in on them. And boy, and people would kind of, who are you really? Perfect child of God. And they go, ooh, that's tough, right? And then I watched them go through that again because I said, here's who the perfect child of God is. The Christ. So let's move that up. Let's ratchet that up a little bit, right? Let's take that up a notch. All right, so the answer is the same thing. They're the same, but said a perfect child of God, you know what the answer is, right? Who are you really? That's who you are. Now, let me tell you what the Christ is. The Christ is that extension of God. That Christ is that unconditional love. But Christ is the relationship between God and all that is. Let me say that again. Christ is the relationship between God and all that is. You see, it's all about relationship. That's really what it's about. And as the Christ, you are that relationship between God, unconditional love, and all that is. That's who you are. Wow. That's how you need to show up. As that relationship between God and all that is. That's the Christ. That's who you were created to be. You were created to create. And you do it every moment, whether you know it or not. If I'm not careful, I'm going to get into my workshop for this afternoon. That's who you were created to be. The relationship between God and all that is. So, everyone that you meet, do they get to see God? Sometimes. Yeah. But that's what it's about. And not just everyone you meet. How about every circumstance you're in? Ooh. Because you're in relationship with every circumstance. You're in relationship with every event. You're in relationship right now with that chair, with the air in the room, with the light. You are relationship. You are the Christ. You are that unconditional love link between God and all that is. Wow, are we getting a little deeper understanding of what it means to be an individual expression of God? Yeah. Yes. So, here's how you can know you're forgetting it. You seek love. If you are it, why would you seek it? Okay? But we all look for love outside of ourselves, don't we? Come on, that's the theme of every rock and roll song that's ever been written. Or country western, right? You either seek it or you've lost it. One of the two, right? How can you lose it unless you've lost yourself? Ew. Yeah. So come on, be honest with me. How many of you have ever sought love? You would go seeking love outside yourself. Yeah. How you figured out you were seeking it in all the wrong? Yeah. It ain't out there until you bring it. And when you bring the love, guess what shows up? Love. But we forget that and we seek it in other people, in the right job, in the right bank account, in the right house, in the right car, in the right prestige, right? Yeah. It's not it. You don't find it until you bring it. That's why A Course in Miracles says that giving and receiving are the same. You want to receive love? Give it. And if you're seeking it, you ain't giving it. Does that make sense to anybody? Yeah. You can't seek it and know who you are. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of lines in A Course in Miracles, and this is actually where I got the title for my lesson today. This is one that comes from the text, chapter 16, And it says this: your task is not to seek for love. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. It is not necessary to seek for what is true, but it is necessary to seek for what is false. If you seek love outside yourself, you can be certain that you perceive hatred within. Now, the Course can hit you right between the eyes with some of this stuff. It can, but what it's really saying is there's things about yourself you don't love. And therefore, you seek it out here to compensate for what you think isn't in here. That's what it's saying. Don't seek for love. You don't have to seek for what's true. But you do have to seek and find all the barriers you have built against it. I'll give you another line from the Course. It's from the section of the Manual for Teachers and Clarification of Terms. It says this: there is no need for help to enter heaven, for you have never left. Folks, Jesus told us when he was walking around on this planet, he said, love is not here or there. What is that saying? Here or there is a distinction of space, right? Oh my goodness, I'm about out of time here. I better talk fast. It's not about space. Heaven is not a place. He said the kingdom of heaven is where? Within. Heaven is when you rise to the frequency, the vibration of unconditional love. That's heaven. And the more you raise your frequency, the more you raise your vibration, the more you enter heaven. That's why it says you've never left. You just forgot where you are. And that's because you forgot who you are. You are the love. There's no need for help to enter heaven, for you have never left. But there is need for help beyond yourself, as you are circumscribed by beliefs of your identity, which God alone established in reality. What it's saying there, you're mistaken in your identity. You really are. I think I'm Tony. That's a mistake. Tony is just the way I can express the unconditional love that I am. That's all Tony is. That's not who I am. It's simply the means by which I have been given to express unconditional love. Or I can express my ego. I've done that once or twice. Well, maybe 3 or 4 times. But that's what that is. It's the vehicle through which you can express who you really are. But you always use it to express who you think you are. How about we start thinking we are unconditional love? That'd be a different way of expressing, wouldn't it? Yeah. You are that individualized expression of God. Now, it's said in here, we need to seek and find all the barriers we have built against it. And here's the analogy I use a lot. Let's take this, we have this little golden Buddha here, right? And then we cover it with mud. That's the barriers that we have circumscribed ourselves with, surrounded ourselves with, is what that means, right? These false beliefs about who we are. Does that mud change the Buddha that's inside? Does it make it any less gold? No. But we're not going to see it until we clear away the mud. That's what we need to do in our lives, clear away the mud, the beliefs that we hold that are not true. And they usually begin with 2 words. I am. 2 most powerful words you can ever speak. How many of you have ever said, I am sad? Oh, really? I am lonely. How about I'm not enough? I'm not smart enough, tall enough, short enough, straight enough, gay enough, dark enough, light enough, heavy enough, thin enough. We've all done this to ourselves, have we not? And then we put an I am in front of it. That's not who you are, but you say, I am. I've created a weekend that we have taught in high schools. It's called Be Out of the Matrix. These folks have participated in it. They're some of my mentors sitting right here. For every student in my class gets their own personal mentor. It's a weekend workshop. We started in high schools and taught it in high schools with troubled youth, and pretty soon it got to adults. We started doing it as a weekend. We actually taught it at Kent State University. I went there and it blew away. We taught some professors and grad students. It blew them away so much that Kent State did a 7-year study on our program. And they found out we were getting better results than any positive psychology class they could find. Because it's all based on A Course in Miracles. But since we taught it in high schools, we had to change the language. It's taught in a secular language. But it's the same principles. We had one lady in the weekend who had the belief, and I won't tell you about the whole weekend, we just don't have time today. We go through a thing where we can dig down and discover what your beliefs are about yourself, these I ams that aren't true. And one of hers was, I am not smart enough. That's not very uncommon at all. But here's what made that so unique in this situation. She had her doctorate in psychology. It gets better. She was working on her 5th PhD. And she discovered in that weekend that one of her core beliefs was, I'm not smart enough. Comments her dad would make to her when she was a little girl. She'd come home with something less than a perfect score, and he'd go, what are you, stupid? Okay? So she grew up with this I'm not smart enough belief, and she discovered in that weekend that she had been running from that belief by getting PhDs. But it ran her life. Folks, this stuff shows up in the strangest ways, but we all carry them around. That's these beliefs we have circumscribed ourselves with that are not true. That's what the Course says you've got to get rid of. Don't seek for what's true. When you get rid of the mud, the Buddha just shows up. Right? And when you get rid of the mud around your thinking about yourself, unconditional love will show up. You don't have to try to be more loving. No. What you need to do is get rid of the barriers you've built against love. These beliefs that you hold about yourself, they're just not true. Okay? Now, it isn't an easy thing to do because you've taken them on as an identity. You think it's who you are. Wow. It isn't easy. But I have workshops, and I have a weekend that will take them away for you. And it's only $1,000. No, I'm kidding. It's only $9.99. Actually, the workshop this afternoon is $25, and it's going to start you on that journey, right? Yeah. It's not about the money. Okay? It isn't about the money. But it isn't easy because you've taken this on as an identity. And who you really are is an individualized expression of God, of unconditional love. That's who you are. So join me this afternoon if you have time. We're going to get rid of some of the mud. I'm going to show you how to use the world out here to wake up and remember that you really are this individualized expression of God. I'm going to talk to you about your guidance system. You were given a guidance system, but you've been mistrained about it, you have misused it, you have abused it, and it is your perfect guidance system that will lead you out of this realm of this mixed up world and pain and suffering and doubt that you're in, and it will bring you right on back. It's a perfect guidance system. It is impeccable. Once you understand it, and once you learn how to use it, it's called your emotional body. We've been taught to ignore it, We've been taught to downplay it. We've been taught to medicate it. And it's your guidance system, folks. And we can show you how to use it to wake up and remember who you really are. One more time. Who are you really? Yeah, the Christ, the perfect child of God, they're the same thing. You are that relationship between God and all that is. You are that unconditional love. So, you are unconditional love, yes? Yes. So let's make that an affirmation. We started off with an affirmation of good morning. Let's end this with a good affirmation here, all right? So I want you to say this after me. I am unconditional love. I am unconditional love. Oh, yeah. Again. And then we're going to add a line right before that one. This is another lesson from A Course in Miracles. I am as God created me. I am unconditional love. Say that with me. I am as God created me. I am unconditional love. We're going to add one more little thing to the end. I am as God created me. I am unconditional love. Therefore, I will seek not love. You got that one? I am as God created me. I am unconditional love. Therefore, I will seek not love. Let's say that together. I am as God created me. I am unconditional love. Therefore, I will seek not love. You got it? We're going to say it this time like we mean it. You ready? I am as God created me. I am unconditional love. Therefore, I will seek not love. And so it is. God bless you.
Wow, we just met Love's cheerleader. We love you, Reverend Tony, and we love your message. It is now time to show our gratitude, and at Unity we know as we give, so we receive. In your bulletin on the back page, there is the Offertory Affirmation. I'd like to call Lolita and Walter up, who are our ushers today. And if you will join me in the Offertory Affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we say, thank you, God.
So, Reverend Tony, I have a question for you. We're going to sing a song called Give Yourself to Love. Is that cool?
That's cool.
So I'm not seeking it, I'm giving
You're
myself
giving it.
to
There
it.
you go.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay, cool. Kind friends all gather round. There's something I would say. What brings us together here has blessed us all today. Love has made a circle that holds us all inside, where strangers are as family and loneliness can't hide. Thank you for singing, by the way.
So give yourself to love. If love is what you're after, open up your heart to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. I've walked the mountains in the rain. I learned to love the wind. I've been up before the sunrise to watch the day begin. I always know I'd find you, though I never did know how.
Not seeking though.
But like sunshine on a cloudy day, you stand before me now.
As me. Yeah.
So give yourself to love. If love is what you're after, open up your heart to the tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love.
Love is born in fire. It's planted like a seed. Love can't give you everything, but it gives you what you need as you. Love comes when you're ready. Love comes when you're afraid.
It will be your greatest teacher, the best friend you have made.
So sing along.
So give yourself to love. If love is what you're after, open up your heart to the tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. So give yourself to love. If love is what you're after, open up your heart to the tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Thank you.
Reverend Tony, would you please join me as we bless our offertory? And let's take a nice, great, big, deep breath. And Heavenly Father, we affirm we are love. We are so grateful for this service, for this divine, profound message that we are one with you in love. We bless our tithes, our offertories, for the use of greater good. And for this and so much more, we say thank you, God. And before we sing our peace song and do the prayer for protection, I want to remind you that we have Reverend Tony at 12 o'clock in the chapel after our refreshments, and we also have Qigong available. So if you'd please rise and join us in the prayer, the peace song, and then the prayer for protection. That was so powerful.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And now the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us.
The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Thank you, everyone. God bless. So much love.
Oh, thank you.
I can't wait to do your workshop.
What a great group.
Oh, I know. It's great service.
I'm gonna run back there and say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah.